This is the story of a street sweeper, and the lesson that will make you never dare to look down on anyone again. Masa, a middle-aged woman who quietly walked the streets every day with her old broom and rusty garbage cart. Nobody remembered her name. Nobody even looked at her as if she were a real person. Until one rainy morning, she took off her only torn raincoat and put it over a little boy who had just fallen off his bike. She gently said, "Don't cry. Everyone falls at some point. What matters is whether you know how to stand back up that moment." Changed the boy's entire life, and the way a whole city looked at her. Misa used to be a cheerful, lively young girl, but life never smiled back at her. Her husband died young. Her daughter disappeared after a heated argument. With no degree, no family to rely on, she applied for a sanitation job, the kind of work nobody wanted. But for Misa, it was enough to survive, and enough to feel like she wasn't completely useless. Every day she started at 3 in the morning. Bitter cold, pouring rain, a garbage cart heavy as stone, and her calloused hands worn out from endless labor. People passed by as if she didn't even exist. Sometimes she was yelled at just for being in the way or simply because she smelled. Still, Misa never blamed anyone. But at night, when she returned to her damp, cramped little room, sitting alone in front of a cold meal, her heart felt empty. She often wondered, why am I even living like this? Does anyone actually see me? She didn't need praise. Just one kind look would have been enough. But it felt like the whole world had forgotten that someone like her even existed. One stormy morning, while she was bending down to sweep leaves under a bridge, a boy on his bicycle slipped and fell right in front of her. He was panicked, his knees scraped, tears mixing with the rain. Without hesitation, Misa rushed over, helped him up, wiped the mud and blood from his legs, and then she took off the only raincoat she had and draped it over him. "Don't be scared. When you fall, you get back up. When you're wet, you'll dry off. But a warm heart, that's something you must always hold on to, all right?" The boy nodded, unable to speak. It was the first time anyone had cared for him like that. And it came from a woman everyone else looked down on. Misa didn't know it, but that boy, his name was Koi, carried the memory of her eyes with him all day. For the first time in his life, he realized a kind person doesn't need to be rich or glamorous. All they need is a heart that still knows how to care. And for Misa, that moment lit something inside her again. Something she thought she had lost forever. The value of simply being here. From that rainy morning on, Misa's heart felt lighter. It might have been just a small moment to that little boy, but to her, it meant she was truly seen. She kept working as always, but little by little, her smile began to return to that weary face. One afternoon, out of nowhere, a strong wind swept through the city. Near the end of her shift, Misa noticed an old tropical almond tree that had been uprooted, blocking the road just as traffic was getting heavy. Nobody dared to approach. People just stood around, took pictures, shook their heads, and walked away. Misa, and with her small, fragile frame, tried to drag the heavy branches aside to clear a path. She was gasping for breath, her face covered in dirt and sweat. A fancy car sped up, nearly hitting her. The window rolled down, and the man inside snapped, "Are you crazy? You're just a street sweeper, not some kind of hero." Those words cut like a knife. The crowd stayed silent. No one spoke up. No one defended her. Misa just lowered her head and quietly kept working on the rest of the fallen tree. A passerby had filmed the entire scene. In the video, Misa looked frail, soaked, silently pulling at the heavy branches. While behind her, a long line of cars waited. No one helped. No one even asked if she was okay. That night, when Misa returned to her tiny rented room, she was utterly exhausted. For the first time in years, she broke down and cried. She thought to herself, maybe I should just quit. If I try my best and still get trampled on, then what's the point of holding on anymore? She didn't know. That exact moment, and when she was yelled at yet kept on working quietly, was about to change her life forever. The next day, Misa didn't go to work. For the first time in almost 20 years of holding a broom, she took a day off. Nobody noticed her absence. None of her coworkers called. Only her garbage cart sat silently in the storage shed, as if it too felt sad. By late afternoon, she heard a knock on her door. She stepped out and froze. It was Koi, the little boy from years ago. Now he was a tall high school student, mature and grown. In his hands was a warm lunchbox, a bottle of water, and a photo of Misa struggling with the fallen tree in the rain. The video had gone viral online with thousands of shares. "You're the reason I changed," Koi said, his eyes red. "Back then, I thought only successful people deserved respect. But I was wrong. The people truly worthy of respect are people like you." Misa was speechless. For the first time in years, she was truly heard, truly recognized, not with shallow compliments, but with gratitude from the very bottom of someone's heart. The next morning, Misa went back to work, but this time things felt different. As she swept, people nodded to greet her. Some stopped to say, "Thank you." A little cafe at the corner even gave her a free iced tea every morning. Misa never wanted fame. All she ever needed was this: kindness spreading quietly, softly, but enough to remind everyone that no matter who you are or what you do for a living, you deserve to be respected. Every morning, Misa still pushes her garbage cart along the same familiar streets. But now her steps feel lighter, her eyes less burdened with sadness. Not because her life has suddenly become easier, but because she is finally seen, finally heard, and finally respected as a human being. On social media, people started calling her the inspiring street sweeper. But Misa just smiled and said, "Hi, I'm simply doing something kind." Just a little, everyday Misa's story isn't about glorifying sacrifice. It's a reminder that every single person carries value, and no one has the right to look down on another just because of the job they do. If you've ever walked past a sanitation worker without looking back, today, take a moment, smile, say thank you, because who knows, that one small gesture might just be enough to light up someone's entire life.